Morning, everyone. Welcome to a day in the life of the network security engineer. My name is DTM Tao, and I'm the program lead here at Cyber Foundation. And I'll be your host for today's session of the Day in the Life series. Welcome, everyone. I see you, cyber girls, joining. I see you, cyber learners. Please, in the chat box, just go ahead and represent your country. Just let us know where you're joining from today. Say hello to your cyber sisters. It's such a pleasure to see you all. Hello, it's so nice to be here again. I'm really excited to have you all on the stream, and we're going to have an exceptional person with us today. But before I have that person introduced, we need to pause for a second and say our mantra. This is the heartbeat of the Cyber Girls Fellowship. So please go ahead, let us know in the chat box where you're joining from. I see someone from Zimbabwe. I see a Kenyan. Oh, I see Uganda. Hi from Gambia. Hello, Mariama. All right. So please go ahead. Keep celebrating. I see Malawi. Go Ghana. Nigeria. Right. This is really interesting. Please go ahead and keep representing your countries in the chat box as we go straight to saying our Cyber Girls mantra. Are you ready, people? Okay. So I'm going to say it's just going to be a call and response. So I'd say the first line, and we'll have you say the next line alongside with me. All right, so let's go. Hands up. I am knowledgeable, resilient, and excellent. I want to see participating in the comment in the chat box. So please, let's say the mantra together. All right. Okay. Let's do it again. I am knowledgeable, resilient, and excellent. I'm a fountain of value and an ardent problem solver. I'm a voracious learner, so nothing is too difficult for me to master. I'm a doer with genius intellect. Want to ready go? I'm a cyber girl. Yes, we are cyber girls, and we are resilient, and we are excellent. All right, welcome once again to a day in the life of a network security engineer. And I just want to say a big thank you to all our technical partners. Cyber Girls Fellowship has a couple of technical partners who help us, bring our vision to light. And I just want to give a big shout out to Cisco Networking Academy, Fortinet, Checkpoint Secure Academy, Policy Wizard, ISC2, EC Council, Microsoft ADC and ATO, Practical DevSecOps, InfoSec, and INE. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the love and all the support you show to us here at the Cyber Girls Fellowship. Okay, people, welcome again. This is a day in the life of a network security engineer. And today we're joined by Fatima Rafana, a seasoned cybersecurity consultant with a track record of implementing robust cybersecurity and infrastructure solutions. With over 15 years of experience in the industry in developing comprehensive security strategies that mitigate risk and safeguard sensitive data. As you can see, we are not joined by someone who's a, how do they say it now, new cat, right? She's been doing this for 15 years. So we are joined by someone with a wealth of wisdom. So grab your notepad, get your questions ready as we welcome Fatima Rafana. Welcome to the stage, Fatima. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Jithan.
All right. So without further ado, let's go to the meat of the matter. I'm really excited to meet you, Fatima. We've never gotten to meet before, but usually in my sessions, I like to start off with something fun before we go into the main thing. I hope you do not mind.
No, all good. Go for it.
All right. So I know you're a cybersecurity person, and usually expected to be a bit serious and very serious. But what is your favorite non-work thing to do?
Oh, I do a lot of dancing. And
Nice.
yeah, and I've got two boys, so we tend to go on local trails and do lots and lots of walking. So I have recently done a 23-kilometer walk of the famous Tongariro Alpine Crossing here in New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Oh my God, your life is so interesting. I like that it's really active. So for all of you who want to go on trails and have fun and dance a bit and let loose, you've seen someone who is just like you making it in cybersecurity. It's so nice to have
Yep.
you share that with us.
Yes.
Okay, so you are a network security or engineer for this particular session, and I want to know, how did that start? How did that journey get started for you? Was there an influence in the early days? What was that like for you?
Um, it started really early, I should say. Like when I was studying, I used to always think, what is the internet? Who runs it? Is it a machine? Who looks after it? Who owns it? That curiosity was seeded when I was like really young in school. When you get on and send emails to teachers and your parents set up your account and like, what is it? Oh, is it a machine or is it someone sits behind somewhere and runs it and sends it off and all? So that was in there. And then my first role was a help desk role. I was helping as a help desk technical support. So as you know, when you are in that role, you have variety of calls come in from networks to servers and web servers, and so there's a whole lot of variety in there. So so when I started looking into the issues, then I came to know that okay, everything connects to each other in a network. So imagine network as a road, and everything else in the infrastructure has to pass through the road. So that's how I developed interest in networks. And again, when you have your home network, you have a Wi-Fi network at home, and you're like, okay, no, let's start playing around. And I broke my home network so many times. My family is not happy with it, but um, yes, started playing around with my home network, blocking websites and helping keeping us secure, starting home, keeping myself and my family secure. Um, Learned a lot doing things, breaking things. Yeah, that's how I got my first role as a network engineer. Through there, that's how my interest, um, and I grew into it.
All right, that's really interesting. At least we know for a fact that you're the child in the family who they say stay away from the technology because you're going to touch it. You're so curious and you want to go in and find out what it's like. That's really
Yes,
interesting. I think that's one thing that stood out for me in your story. It's laced with curiosity in every corner. You
yep,
wanted to just know, ask questions
yes,
and find out.
that's right. That's right. Yes.
Okay, I'd like to know, were there any challenges you faced, in your career journey? Because I know it started more with self-learning and curiosity, but there challenges that stood out for you in the entry point of your career.
Yep, yep, yep. There were a few challenges, but always, you find a way out. Um, s- Nowadays, when we want to learn, there's so many um, um, different options. Like, for example, if I want to build a network or, play around, there's simulations available, there's virtual platforms available. But back in the days, we have to actually buy the network switch or a router, like local e-commerce website, eBay. You buy it and then set it up at home. But and those were some of the challenges I faced. But nowadays, you have a laptop, you build it up, you go install a couple of applications, and voila, it's running. You can play around with it there. And then the second challenge was being an only woman or a only girl in the team of 70 odd men. And you would be like, oh, okay, who do I ask? Who do I start with? But luckily, I had very good colleagues and very supporting team who helped me through. And other women in my network have always supported our growth and have had my back. So yep, there's always challenges in every field. So never step back or put yourself back saying that, oh, there's challenges. You will walk through it like a cake.
I really like that advice, and I hope we all hear it back there. Just walk there. There's no field without challenges. Just keep going.
No,
Keep at it.
yep, it'll be a walk in the park for you in no time.
I can imagine. So there's someone in the comment section who says, she was afraid of, playing around with her router. I think what would we say to her? Go ahead and play with it, I guess.
Go ahead and play with it. What worse can happen? What was going to happen? You can go ahead, reset it, and it'll be back to square one where you started. Plug in log in your router. That is the best thing you could do, is your home network. And there's nothing worse can happen. Okay, family might not have internet for some time. They'll say, oh, yeah, 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 yeah." But again, but you will learn. There's so many YouTube videos. There's so much information online from so many um, vendors. So just take it on. Connect your network, see what subnet it is, see what IP, what does an IP mean, what is your encryption on there, and once you change your encryption, what does your phone say? Is it weak encryption? Is it strong encryption? So there's this little things, and then you will see some errors. Google it. So many community helps out there. You will find something. If you can't find anything, or you need help, I'm there. Connect with me. I'm happy to help.
All right, I really like the sound of that. And we'll be talking more about the connection piece at the end of our session, but that's really quality advice there. Google it, you'll find it on there. Okay, so we're curious. What does a typical day look like for you? I like that you mentioned you have a family, you have two boys. We also want to know, what does a typical day look like for you? If you want to feature your personal life, that's great, but mostly your work life. What are the day-to-day tasks that you engage in
Yeah.
as a network security engineer?
Yep, sure. As a network security engineer, there's this variety of tasks you'll be involving in, starting with monitoring the network alerts. Um, you'll be first thing in the morning. You'll be like, okay, what alerts are there in the queue? Is someone complaining about something? Is there any priority alerts in there that needs your attention right away? And then again, conducting vulnerability assessments. Like, for example, you have a software version running on a router or a switch or any network infrastructure which they had vulnerabilities, and you have to patch it to make it more secure. So, you do your vulnerability assessments and check, and then you will also be working on devices, configuring firewalls. You have a request and saying that this team needs access to a server, so you open up a port, or you add a rule, or you troubleshoot. You log in into multiple devices. You collaborate with different teams. And again, participating in audits and compliance assessments, and so it's a variety of mix of things. It's a very happening day. You will not feel bored.
I like that you went in breaking down the details, because that's what we really want everyone joining the stream to know, what it really looks like. I'd like to know, what technical skills do you need to take on as a network security engineer? What technical skills do they have to possess to get started?
Again, as I would really start on with, having a curious mindset, um, which will help you learn a lot. For example, to start off with, you would want to get something like CompTIA Network Plus or a Security Plus certification, where those certifications talk about different components in the network. What is a switch? What is a router? What is an infrastructure proxy? What is a firewall? So having those skills, knowing about the infrastructure is very important. Understanding the different components, knowledge about operating systems, Linux operating system to versus to Windows operating system, and having familiarity with what is an intrusion prevention system, what is a VPN, how would you secure a network design, or what are the security um, measures you would take. To help the businesses secure, and understanding the security concepts, basic security concepts, like how would you connect, and what are security measures you would take. For example, how would you prevent data leakage, data loss prevention, intrusion detection systems, and just understanding the network infrastructure components will help you break into the industry.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, so as a as a cyber girl, um, who is looking to kickstart their career in cybersecurity, how would I know network security is the path for me? How do I know it's a great fit?
Yep, sure. Think about this network is understanding the network will help you in multiple career paths. For example, if you want to be a SOC analyst, you would want to know the alerts coming from a firewall. You would you would see how this there's multi-stage attack. You will want to know that, okay, this attack came in, the user clicked on a link, for example, and then it went through hoops and different network, and identity is compromised, or he had access to the firewall, and then got through a web server. So if you understand the network, you will understand, it'll help you in troubleshooting. Or if you want to be a security architect, if you understand the network components, it'll help you designing better solutions. And if you want to be a pen tester, you so when you're running your test, you would say that, okay, this server doesn't have SSL version or TLS version. It is unsecure. It has no authentication protocols, no security. Or if you want to be, even if you want to be a non-technical side like GRC or CNA analyst, like credit accreditation and assurance analyst, even there, when you are doing your governance and risk and compliance, you will be touching multiple different network components. If you don't know those components, you'll be end up googling what does a proxy do, what does a firewall do. But when you have read about it, you can add that extra edge to your piece of work that you're doing. So starting off as a network engineer will give you a kickstart in a lot of industries or lot of multiple career options, and it opens and makes it easy for you to understand where you want to go and choosing what you want to do.
All right, thank you so much. That actually goes a bit into my second question around, where to pivot, as time goes on. And you just kind of featured it a bit. But do you want to be more specific? What are the options, for someone who's once been a network security engineer and wants to pivot? What are the career options they have available to them?
Yeah, yeah. So once you're in there, you will understand. Because when you're working as a network engineer, you will be talking to multiple teams. And resolving, you'll be talking to security operations team. You'll also be talking to governance team. You will be talking to audits team. You will also be talking to your managers if you want to be into a management career. So because you develop so many skills, it'll help you choose which one fits you better with your personality or with your interests.
All right. Okay, so to everyone joining in, please don't forget you can drop your questions in the chat box and we will attend to it at the end. Okay, so how do you collaborate with other teams such as IT operations or software development to ensure that security measures are integrated throughout the network infrastructure?
Collaborating with other teams is a very integral part of your network engineering or any career option you take, um, because you cannot work in isolation. So you will be participating in cross-functional meetings and discussing and understanding the project requirements, basically identifying the potential security risk and guiding them how you could mitigate the risk, and providing security guidance and recommendations during the design, and understanding why there were certain decisions made in the design. So basically you're collaborating with IT operations team. So if you're designing a piece of, for example, if I say you're designing a network, you need to understand how the operational teams would run it. So you'll be collaborating, running meetings with them, running sessions with them, training them. So um, talking to them, explaining them why you've done this way, or why you want to do it this way, and how it'll help the customer and the team to run it smoothly.
Okay, so before we take some questions from the chat box, I just want to know, did you love your job as a network security engineer? And what did you find most interesting? If you did love it, what did you find most interesting at the time?
Yeah, I would any day want to go back as a network engineer and do the job. Yes, that will be like going back home because I started there. I loved every minute of it because you get the opportunity to work with obviously cutting edge technologies and stay at the forefront of cybersecurity advancements. And then the satisfaction of providing critical assets and satisfaction of protecting the critical assets and your data, sensitive data from cyber threats. And there's a challenge of solving complex security problems and saying one step ahead with what advisories are out there, and protecting yourself. The potential of continuous learning and growth is so much that you're never bored. You're always on your toes, and your ability to tangible impact by controlling the overall security posture of the organization. So that satisfaction, so that gave me a lot of satisfaction, and I loved being a network engineer any day.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure with the way you've spoken about your job, a lot of people want to be network security engineers. I feel like I want to be one now. It's so interesting. It's you're actually reeling me in. Okay, so what are some of the technical tools you use? You mentioned your day-to-day tasks and what that looks like. What are the tools you use for work? Some people are just curious. I know this may differ from from company to company, but just let us know what's the
Yep.
basic requirement.
Yep, sure. So, if you want to know, the basic tools, and that's available out there. There's Wireshark available. That's the basic tool where you could, tap the two devices and see how they're communicating. So we use Wireshark. We use different tools like Splunk to see your what do you say, the usage, network usage, how much a pipe or network pipe is being used. If it's going above, users will have problems. If it's underutilized, do we really need so much of money spending on a pipe that could be connecting to your different data centers, to cloud, or or even just your branch sites. And we use identity access management tools like your Cisco ICE, just to see who's connecting in the network, how we are giving access to different people in the network, and how are we protecting our critical infrastructure by not giving access to everybody. And there's other tools that they use from if you talk about cloud, which is Azure Cloud. If you're talking, there's multiple tools in there you use to monitor your access, monitor your controls, your conditional access tools, your firewalls, um, how they protect your network, and how you're doing your network captures there, and going through the logs. So I would say, if you want to start really basic, get on any what do you call it, tool like Eve NG. It's a virtual platform. You can install, you can get the different devices running, do a Wireshark capture, see the network traffic, how it's flowing, and understand the different packets, how the traffic is going from one packet to the other, how you could block it, how you could allow it, and how you could break it.
Okay, thank you so much for being so detailed. That really helped. Okay, so can we work fully remote, or does your role as a network security engineer require that you work full time in the office physically?
No, we don't need to be full time in the office. We do work remotely. Um, there are some roles out there which require going to a data center and looking at infrastructure, but we usually send field technicians out there, and they are our eyes on site. But all my job is done remotely. Um, there is no requirement for you to be in a certain office or infrastructure. But if you are working with physical infrastructure, configuring it and sending it, then obviously you need to have your hands on. But even that can be done remotely now with one click configure, with variety of tools out there.
Okay, thank you so much. That actually, I would say answers a bit of this question. But Bronk wants to know: do you have to be good at in hardware configuration, or it's just fine if you do not know that
Um, it's always a good thing to know about hardware configuration and hardware models out there, because you do want, for example, if you're working for a company, a router is going end of life. So you need to know what is the replacement out there. So knowing about hardware components, it is important. But when you're coming to configuration, there are so many documents that vendors have got with state what is the base configuration you want to have, and what are the best practices, and you could start your building up your configuration from there. You following the best practices from the vendors, building up the basic configuration, and building up according to the network infrastructure you have inside the company.
Okay, so what would you say is the difference between a network security engineer and a SOC analyst? Amarachi would like to know.
Yep, sure. That is a very good question. So network security engineer works with your firewall, your routers, your switches. So basically providing end-to-end connectivity to the users for their services. Now coming to SOC analyst, SOC is a security operations center. So in as a SOC analyst, you are making sure that there is no unwanted unauthorized access coming in, um, and you're protecting your network. So basically you're looking at the alerts. Oh, there's someone trying to access your network from a different country, or you're looking at the alerts and saying that, oh, there's been a lateral movement from this person clicking on the link, and there's a multi-stage attack going on, and you confine that attack and see that it is not causing more harm. You will see, is there any malware detection going on, is there any um, 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 account privilege changes. So network security engineer looks after the networks. SOC analyst is looking after the broader security operations center, which is looking after every infrastructure inside the organization.
Okay, thank you so much. Have you ever encountered an intrusion incident in your career? And Aisha, I would like to know how you handled it.
Yeah, sure. Yes, multiple times. There was, I can't go too much in the details, but when we were looking into the logs, we got an alert saying that high usage of network traffic being hit from a certain area or on our web servers. Um, so we had to confine that the attack, and make sure that the attack was not propagated on our other infrastructure. And once that attack was confined, we blocked it, and we had to go through a series of incident response to make sure that all our infrastructure is protected and there's no harm caused to our infrastructure.
I can imagine how stressful an experience that must have been for you. The adrenaline rush, the
Yeah.
pressure to get things right and learning. And I'd like you to speak more from a personal experience. What was that like for you as a first timer? How did that feel?
It is obviously very nerve-wracking because you've got services down. You are one side talking to a customer who is affected, telling them that this is what has happened. We have confined the attack, and this will be the next steps. And then you are also making sure the patches and the security measures are in there, and also advising the incident response teams what has been done, what's giving them the updates. So keeping and not getting too stressed out, and just trying to stay in the situation, staying calm helps a lot to understand the details. And if you get panicked, then obviously there is you won't be able to concentrate on the things. So there's always stress when this priority incidents happens, but staying calm and understanding and keeping it clear on the issue and the next steps and how you're going to fix it with the management and the customer really helps.
Right, thank you so much. So, Tibe, I would like to know, as a network security engineer, do you configure and set up networks, or is it just about monitoring the network to detect anomalies?
Yeah. We have the aspect of both. We do set up the network. We do configure the devices, providing end-to-end. Suppose we are, for example, if we are setting up a new branch for a bank, we have to set it up with the firewall. If it's the way if it's designed like for an SD-WAN, there'll be a firewall at side, there'll be a router at side, there'll be switches on site. So we will be configuring them, sending it to the sites. The field engineers will connect it up, and then we do the remaining configuration, making sure it's connected, there's traffic flowing through, and then obviously once that's all set up, you will have your monitoring piece where you're monitoring um, the access, the authentications, your how often is a certain network being used, if the pipes overflowed or if there's any issues that you have to fix. So there's an ongoing piece, and plus, there is always a piece of setting up new things.
Wow, it sounds like a lot. There's a lot that's dependent on your role to function. And I think I want everyone to understand that it's a lot of responsibility and it's just as fun. It's just
Yes.
as fun.
Yes.
Okay, so apart from CompTIA Network Plus and CompTIA Security Plus, what other basic and advanced certifications does someone need to work as a network security engineer?
Yep. So I would highly suggest getting these two because they give a basic, and then getting some vendor certifications like CCNA, CCNP, and also on your firewall side, you could get something like your Fortinet firewall certifications, which will be very helpful. And playing around with a Fortinet firewall, even if you get a firewall online, buy it, play around with it. Even if you can't buy online, as I said, this virtual labs that you could set up. EVNG is one of the ones that I use personally. Play around with checkpoint firewalls, and also if you are into want to go on the management side, you could do your or audit side. There's from IC Square, you got your CISM, CI. There's an audit one as well in there, and the risk one, C risk, just to understand if you want to, if you have the likes of going down that path as risk auditor or in the management side. So besides CompTIA, I would highly recommend getting some vendor certifications. And if as an advanced certification, I would highly advise getting CISSP, which is quite broad. It has 8 domains in it, and with CISSP, they say it's inch depth and a mile wide. So it is an interesting one, but an advanced one. But to start off with, get your CompTIA, get your vendor certifications, and enjoy the learning.
All right. Let's pause for a second and just talk more about your journey to securing your first role. If you look at the comment section, a lot of questions around that. People want to know, was there a roadmap you followed? Did you have previous experience that came in handy? And things like that. So I just wanted to speak about your journey from, let's say, college. If you did attend it, just tell us what was that like. Getting to get your first role. What were some of the things that worked for you, and something like that.
Yep, sure, definitely. In college, and my higher degrees were in science. I was not a computer student, but then I did my engineering in computer science, um, and then I got into a help desk role, as I said, and from there I got into a network operations center, NOC. Like you have SOC, like a security operations center, you have NOC, which is the network operations center, where again you're looking at the network, understanding if there's high CPU running on any of the servers, high CPU running on any of the network devices, attending to it. If the logs are full, you clean the logs, and you know how you are. If there's a crash, why did the server why did the network switch crash, just to know and investigate that as a network operations center. So from there, I got Cisco certifications. Just because there were so many Cisco equipment we used to work with. That was the only reason I ended up doing Cisco certifications. Just to tell you, I failed my Cisco certification twice. It was the third attempt that I passed my certification. Um, so and and I never looked back from there. So failing the first time was something like, okay, I need to work more harder, um, and get to learn more. And second time, like, no, not ready yet. Failed again. And then the third time I passed, and I do tell it with proud that I did fail. So failure is not something should put you back. You should always learn, and there's always something new to learn, and just changing and practicing more. And I should say, again and again, hands on. Get your hands on. If once you have your hands on practicing things, you will understand more than just listening or reading. Get in there, get your hands dirty, and learn.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's actually the resilience we talk about in our mantra. That's resilience, and just in display. First time, second time, third time, and you kept going back. A lot of people give up after the second time and say, "This is not for me." So if you're listening in, that's something to take back. Resilience needs to be full on, on display throughout your career. You keep trying and keep failing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. It's really encouraging for some who on this call have tried before and failed the certification, just to know that there's someone out there who persevered and is getting it. 15 years in, still getting it. Thank you so much, Fatima.
No worries,
Okay,
no worries.
so someone is asking, does it have to be a help desk role first? Are there other options for me? I know we're going to have to go back and research, but from people you've met in your field, what other popular starting points have you ever got to encounter?
There are multiple starting points. Help desk should, I mean, it doesn't have to be help desk. You could even do some internships. There's a lot of organizations who take graduate roles, internships, and you could just have a feel of it. The other few months back, I was working with a graduate who had a graduate opportunity to come and work with us, um, and the way we did it with graduates was because they don't know what are the industry roles. We let them sit a couple of months with the network engineers. We let them sit a couple of months with the SOC engineers, and also with governance teams. And once they finish their whole circle, um, and then they choose the path, and then they continued with their internship. So there's lots of opportunities out there, and look for companies, even big companies. If I'm talking like Big Datacom, One NZ, like in New Zealand. But even if you look at Microsoft, Google, Amazon, they have so many internships going on. They are helping students. They are helping a lot of females, encouraging, because there is there are not a lot of females out there in the technical side of things. So there is a lot of encouraging going on from these big companies, your Microsoft, your Amazon, your AWS services, learning the certifications, and free certifications out there. Follow them on LinkedIn, and they are encouraging new learning. And once you show them that you are ready, you can contact them. They can contact the community pages and see what options they have. So get in there, talk to them, put yourself out there. So there's a lot of people looking for females who are interested in technology. So I would say look for graduate opportunities, look for internships, follow companies, and learn from free resources. You don't have to pay a lot of money to even for your certifications. There are free certifications from so many vendors out there. Especially Google is doing a lot of free certifications. Learn, and people will get in touch with you if you put yourself out there. Go to networking events. Um,
Go to networking events.
yes, go to networking events. They are we underestimate them. We think, oh, that should take time out and go out and meet people, but no, they will add so much to your career. You will learn from people experiences. You will make your network. You will put your self out there, and uh, people will know about you, and that's how you'll get your opportunities.
People will know about you. So this is the time to go out and put yourself out there. LinkedIn, let people know what you're getting interested in. Attend networking events, ask people questions, and let them tell you what the experience has been.
Yep,
That
definitely, yep, and never be shy of asking a question. There is no expert out there. No one is an expert. We are all learning. Even if there's a 30-year or a 30 years experienced person out there, he's also learning. I'm also learning. Everybody's learning. There's no question, a silly question. Just ask the question.
this just reinforces something I actually saw this morning, and I think it's time to share it. It said there's no award for the person who didn't make mistakes. There's no award for the person who never said no. There's no one who there's no award for someone who didn't who was perfect. There's none for anyone who didn't need support whatsoever. So you need support. There's not going to be, oh, this was the one person who never needed help in cybersecurity. This is
No,
the one person who never failed any exam. Who never tried the practical and got stuck. There's no award for that as well. And I think
no.
just hearing you talk has just reinforced that. There's no award for that. Just keep trying. Just
Just
keep
keep
trying.
trying. Just keep trying. And in fact, when you break things, you will learn more. If everything worked from the manual or the instructions, you'll be like, oh, it's next, 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 all done. But when you break it, you will know, okay, no, this has this connection, this is how it works, then this is what I need to do. So, yep.
And there's something about learning like that. You never forget.
No,
It is ingrained in your memory. You just never forget.
no,
That
never
that
forget.
that, that is actually that's actually one of the best ways to learn. So we would like to know, if I start off as a soccer analyst, can I still come over to the networking end? I know you've explained to us, how soccer engineers and network engineers sometimes, have similar duties or things that look alike and interact with each other. But how easy is it to switch from one to the other?
Um, it's always good to have. So if you are a network engineer, so I'll talk about the shift from network to SOC and then SOC from networks. So if you start off as a network engineer, you are already having your understanding of the network components, your firewall, your AD, your Active Directory, your proxies, your network devices, your endpoints, your servers. So when you move to SOC, you'll be like, okay, I know these components. This is how it works. Um, so the transition is easy. So you have that knowledge. But if you've started from SOC, you have a different side of knowledge. You know about the different types of logs, the different types of attack techniques. You'll also learn about different threat actors. And when you move from SOC to networks, you will start off very at a forefront of having security mindset, which is a cutting edge already. You will be, if you're designing, if you move from SOC and you have moved on a network side and you are designing a network, you will have security as your everything is around security. So you'll be designing a secure network. You'll know how to protect your devices. So everything has its own benefit. You coming that way or coming this way. So you will benefit from your experience in both the roles.
Thank you so much, Fatima, for sharing it, breaking it down like that for us. I'm sure in your journey you've learned a lot of lessons. It's been 15 years, and we're all newbies looking to get into the same field. What are some of the advices you'd like to give to the Cyber Girls fellow who is trying to get started as a network security engineer that you wish you knew earlier?
Learning, when I started, I didn't know a lot about these community sites where you could ask your questions. Even vendors, education, online education, free online resources available from different vendors, and just taking a step back and thinking, why are we doing this? Will help you understanding the network in general. So if you want to break in, don't know how about I put this. When I was into security, or designing security architectures, I thought that I should have learned about security operations side rather earlier. So uh, so for any person who has the aim of being a security consultant or security architecture, or even a CISO, top level out there, as chief information security officer, if you want to be on there, get your basics right. Understand your basic network fundamentals is very important. Understanding your networks, understanding your security, understanding your governance side of things, understanding your compliance industry or practices. Um, so basically, I would suggest that get your basics right, and there's no one to stop you.
Get your basics right, people. Get your basics right. So there's something we say in our community that we don't want to be basic for nobody, but when it comes to this, we want to get our basics right. So please,
Yep.
can you in the chat box just go get your basics right?
Get your
Okay.
basics right, get your fundamentals right. Yep.
Okay, so we really want you to go more specific on those communities that really helped you, hands-on activities or resources that helped you. A lot of people are asking, what are those communities? Can I get started now? Can I go there and ask questions? So if you don't mind just sharing just a few with us, we would like that.
Yep. So Cisco community is one of them. Understanding, and if you have any issues, ask them the question. There's so many people out there answering the questions. And in LinkedIn, there are a bunch of vendor communities out there. Join the community. And again, talking about cloud, there is Microsoft community, where you have an issue, you just put it out there. If no one answers it, Microsoft itself answers your questions. Even when I'm stuck, I have an issue, I post questions out there, and they'll get back to you in less than 24 hours. Um, um, so, um, so whoever, so whichever vendor you're working with, try the vendor community first. So, with Cisco, the Cisco community, with if you're talking about wireless networks, which is also as a network engineer, you'll be looking at wireless networks as well. There's Airheads community for Aruba, the Cisco community again for Cisco Wireless. There's LinkedIn communities again. Azure, there's Microsoft community for cloud and AWS as well. So vendor communities, just create your logins, ask the question, and they have
Thank you.
free resources. No worries.
Yeah. So I hope we're all taking notes. There'll be a replay of this session available to you all. Please don't forget to take notes and go and do some of these things she's advised us to do. Go check them out. A lot of people also would like to connect with you, Fatima. We're curious. We would like to continue the conversation. We would like to give a shout out once in a while. How do we get around to do that?
I'm available on LinkedIn. Find me on LinkedIn. Send me a message. Happy to connect. Happy to help you girls. Let me know. I'll be joining the mentorship program as well. So if you girls want any help, shout out. And looking forward to connecting with you and learning from your experiences too.
Oh, well, thank you so much. As you can see, there's a lot of gratitude in the chat box. We're really grateful. I'm jealous of your mentees already. Thank you so much for giving us this time and spending time with us. Are there any last words you'd like to share with us, before we end your session?
Oh, no, thank you very much. I loved your mantra, I should say. I was also repeating it, even though it was my first time hearing it. But no, girls, get out there, learn, explore, um, break things, enjoy,
Break things.
break things. I mean, there's labs for it, right? You're not going to do it in production, but again, there's labs for it. Um, build your labs, learn, break things, enjoy, and love what you're doing, and follow your dreams.
All right. Thank you so much, Fatima. We will follow our dreams and we'll break as many things as we can. Thank you so much. Until we have you again, goodbye.
Thank you, girls. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye. Thank you.
All right, people, you've heard from Fatima Rafana. Let's go out there, let's try things, let's break things, let's experiment, let's be curious, let's ask all the questions that need to be asked. Again, the Cyber Girls Fellowship Program is funded fully by donations, and this is just us encouraging you to please, go ahead to show your support to the Cyber Girls Fellowship so we can continue to do things like this. Okay, and just as another shout out to our technical partners, Cisco Networking Academy, Fortinet, Checkpoint Secure Academy, Policy Wizard, ISC2, EC Council, Microsoft ADC, Practical DevSecOps, InfoSec, and INE. All right, people, it's another session coming to the end, and this is a day in the life of a network security engineer. My name again is Ditem Tawo, and if you had an amazing session with us, just go ahead and leave us a comment letting us know how much you enjoyed the session, and don't forget to share when it's live on YouTube. All right, people, it's bye from my end. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.